Alright, here we go. This is game one between Eddnamed and Turkleton for Tipsy 3000's February 1v1 Iron Man ladder. And we have Eddnamed in the Green Sea Bomber here on the left side of Simple, and Turkleton in the basic Neo on the right side. So, typical, T capture. I'm sure Turkleton has this set to capture. And Eddnamed is going for the soldiers. Has the extra money maker in queue, made pre-game for 50% off. So that's good. And Turkleton sporting an Ouya pet and a cardinal, and Eddnamed with his typical bird keeper 3 birds. And Eddnamed bringing out the Dillos to finish off the jackals. One light already goes down for him. And Turkleton just going with following his tanks in Seeker, and this base does go blue. And now Eddnamed bringing his Dillos over, actually puts 2 on the low ground. That's pretty interesting. Turkleton keeping a Seeker by his forward, and using Patchers in support, that'll keep those Longhorn alive for a really long time, and definitely. They will definitely come out on top. And all the neutrals except there's one jackal at the top. Turkleton drops to the EMP, and they bringing over creeps. This will not go to anyone yet. And Turkleton already has an artillery out. They are Archies, and he has one facing Eddnamed's big clump units, and Eddnamed is bringing all of his units over, but they are Dillos against Longhorn with Patcher support, so they probably will die very quickly. Oh, except Ed drops and starts slashing them up with his melee, and does kill off, I think, a Patcher and a Longhorn right there. But Turkleton did start to evacuate his units down. But Ed, once again, bringing Dillos over, dropping and slashing, does take out a Patcher. 2 Armadillo are still left over here for him, but mid does go green. And Turkleton dropping with the EMP. All of those Armadillo actually die. And now Turkleton has 2 Archies firing in, and has boomers queued up. Ed does not get that, but does get back to his base. And queuing up more moneymakers. This is a little dangerous because he does need to keep a good presence of units here. There are a lot over here for Turkleton. Dropped the boomers. Nothing did die, but that one Armadillo is smoking black. Ed did sell that moneymaker, as putting it in that socket would not really, it would die very quickly. And Eddnamed just attacking this boomer just to get the salvage. And Turkleton does drop with the MP, but will not be able to finish off Eddnamed, as Neo's primary attack, especially on the ground, is not that strong. And although Ed does have pretty good control of mid, it is pretty well surrounded by his Dillos. There are 3 Archies shooting into this area, so. And Turkleton does drop with the EMP again, almost takes down that Dillo. Ed does save it. And he is bunkered. He has a lot of these bunkered, which don't really do anything. It is pretty useful to instead bunker infantry. But Turkleton now has 4 Archies out. But Ed has a lot of Armadillo here, and probably set those to attack. Those are going to go for Turkleton's main. And Turkleton has more boomers in queue, but as you can see on the mini-map, the sort of invisible push there on the south side, Turkleton will not be able to see that unless he directly scouts it, but this base does go neutral. There are not that many units left here for Ed, and those Armadillo, there's like 4 or 5 Armadillo down there on the left side that are completely gone. Turkleton with the probes is going to be able to claim mid, but Turkleton has to respond to these 4 Armadillo that are here attacking his main. And Ed doing bombing runs, but gets taken out. There were 2 or 3 Seekers there, and Turkleton does come back to finish him off. And Turkleton blocks very well with this Longhorn. The Longhorn is taking direct fire from all the Armadillo. This is very good placement. And Turkleton does clean that up, but Ed has another full queue of Armadillo and has a lot of infantry over here. This will go back to Ed, and he will drop all these Dillos right here. No, he doesn't drop yet. He does not drop yet. Okay, now he does start to put them on the backside of mid. And Turkleton dropping again with the EMP. Yeah, Ed does need to... Okay, he does have hats queued up. Anti-air would be very helpful right now because Turkleton is getting kind of like straight up in all those units every time he drops for that EMP. And Turkleton actually opts to put 2 points into armor instead of cloak. And mid is now actually under Turkleton's control. Ed does have 2 hats up, so Turkleton will not be able to do his extremely quick flyover and drop without being in actual danger. And Ed trying to kill neutrals on that side, I guess just for the EXP. And Turkleton is here as well, but Ed is so really low on life. Almost goes down, but Turkleton did not really pursue very adamantly. But Turkleton has a lot of patchers here. These healing units really do a great job keeping all of these other units alive. And healing up his Archies, bringing them up from the low ground. And now he does have a pretty good firm grasp of this mid area. But Eddnamed now, after hitting level 5, does bring out a Grinder. And is just kind of sitting here with the Grinder. That Dillo in the front does go down. These Archies there are 4 now firing into Ed's forward here, and all of those units are taking damage. This Grinder is just it did get stasis, and this front Armadillo is probably gonna go down. It is smoking black. Ed does pick it up and save it, but now loose creeps do hit Turkleton's forward. And now Turkleton, putting a moneymaker down, does have the economic advantage at this point. Eddnamed has 28,000 credits. He did have that. That's interesting. He had that Grinder set on patrol. And Turkleton coming with... Oh, didn't really come with creeps there. That just came with him. That was just kind of a coincidence. Trying to do a little bit of harass and distraction, but not really getting anywhere, especially because he didn't bring any units with him. And Ed putting a hat back here, just so Turkleton can't do any flybys without being in actual danger. There are 3 hats out on the field for Eddnamed, and Turkleton almost goes down with that there. And Ed is probably just going to clean up this Longhorn that's on his way to his main. But Turkleton puts a Longhorn right here, and Ed is slashing directly into it. Turk is shooting at that Grinder, almost takes it down. Ed saves it just in time, and he does have 5 Armadillo in queue. Turkleton again with boomers, but Ed goes down to all those Seekers and Turkleton's fire. Now Turkleton with the boomers, it'll go straight for this Armadillo and another Armadillo on the left side also. So that one does go down. Ed respawns just now. And Turkleton dropping boomers. Those couple will go for that Grinder. Not really being that effective right now. But Ed is a little overextended, getting shot by those Seekers. Turkleton does not have a cloak, so he can't really get away that way. But he does get back to his outpost fast enough. And takes Ed down in his own retreat. And right now, I guess Turkleton is typing. He's not really doing anything. Ed's why? Ed does respawn, and Turkleton is doing a push. He is taking all his Longhorn right there in front and pushing out. And he drops a Grinder there. Ed better drop another Grinder and counter. He only has Bertha's queued right now. He probably needs a Grinder. There are too many Longhorn over here. And this outpost is going to go back down to neutral. It only has 1 bulb up left. Now it's down to none. Turkleton continually dropping Grinders and everything over here. There's 2 Grinders over here against just the 1 for Eddnamed. Ed picks up the Bertha that he had queued up and finally got built. He is not able to... He kills one grinder, but the other grinder took out both of his hats, and Turk just drops these Longhorn. Oh, and Ed did go down again. There was a Seeker right there on the left side. And now Turkleton is one outpost up. One more outpost up. He has Ed's forward. Completely surrounded by Longhorn also. And Ed has 5 grinders in queue. He's just going to push hard with grinders. And the thing is, Turkleton will probably, even if there are a lot of grinders out on the field for Ed, Turkleton is a Neo and will be able to just pick up and drop, especially since the grinder isn't as heavy as kind of a lot of people think it should be. Ed trying to do some bombing runs, but there are 2 Seekers over here. Along with Turkleton shooting in, he barely gets away there. He does have all 5 of his grinders in queue. I kind of maybe would have just put them all out on the field first, moving, because right now he has to ferry all the way. He has to go all the way back to his close outpost to be able to get these grinders. And now going with the Berthas. Berthas are shooting in. These grinders are... It's just straight up one grinder to one grinder. Ed does go down there. There's a lot of Seeker fire along with Turkleton's fire as well. There's only one grinder left here. That will go down very quickly. Turkleton does do the EMP drop shoot thing that Neos always do. Ed respawning, but this his close is under fire from creeps, just basic creeps. And he has nothing but Berthas out on the field and that one hat. And this close does go neutral. Turkleton with the textbook pushing, dropping. It's very superb play here. Turkleton dropping the grinder next to the Berthas. Ed does evacuate them, so they will not take that much fire or that much DPS from those grinders. But that gives Turkleton another chance because Ed has to back out. Turkleton just needs to keep pushing his units up and up and up. And once again dropping the grinder next to the Berthas, and they are once again valuable units that are in danger. And instead of going for the outpost, Turkleton is going straight for the kill. A lot of these units are going for Ed's main. Only 3 or 4 are going for the close outpost. Ed doing the fire from doing the melee from the low ground, much safer than doing it from the level. But there are too many grinders here, and Ed does go down to that Seeker. Well, actually, he did go down to Turkleton, but the Seeker took out most of his HP. Turkleton Boomers is just gonna go for the lunchbox there, and Ed now has absolutely nothing left on the field. Turkleton with a lot of grinders. Grinders actually can't damage the fort, so the few Longhorn that are up here are what is inflicting damage to this fort. And now Ed slashing up the Longhorns, but Turkleton is just making more Longhorn and ferrying them over, and this game is very, very close to being over. And Turkleton bringing the Longhorn all around the base, all around the fort, preventing Eddnamed from doing any real blocking. And Turk just beautifully doing his EMP, bringing his Longhorn all around. And Ed trying to kill the Longhorn that he drops, but Turkleton is just doing this non-stop until right about now. And that is game over. Turkleton takes game 1. Stay tuned for game 2.